in school. If you're looking for bad boys who would do naughty stuff, to town, going to sleep outside town, not coming, going clubbing, smoking, drinking, weed, and all of that. Yeah, I've done it all. When I got to his home, he started playing Babao. Babao. It was just he saw it in a vision. That's what they were singing. And it was myself, him, and another gentleman called Johnson. And we started adding, "We're in your presence, let it rain." When I started growing my hair, it became a no. Hey. Oh, they came for me. But what if I told you I had a scar that I don't want people to see? That's why I left my hair to grow. Like this recent one, this whole money thing, it's just turned off. And if I tell you the whole story behind this song, you're going to get there, right?
I wanted to act.
You can feel free and talk about that. So if mentioning my name in a negative way pulls traffic for you to go and make money from YouTube, then I'm being a blessing to the poor. And I don't mind.
Welcome to another episode of the Dennis Benso Show. The show is all about sharing our life stories and our testimonies to glorify God and to edify His people. Today we have a very special guest, a very big guest on the podcast, and he's none other than the great Dr. Sonnie Badu. Welcome to the show,
Dennis. Thank you.
Like I was saying, this show is all about sharing our life stories. And when we mention the name Sonnie Badu, everybody knows the name. And you have achieved so many things. Like I was doing a little research on you, and I'm like, what? You've been doing all these things, and most of us know you for your music. And you've written a lot of books, you have so many businesses, and now you are a pastor, you have your own church. And we know of all the great things you have achieved in life, but there is no glory without a story. Most of us focus on the glory, and we see you traveling here and there, ministering to thousands and thousands of people, playing shows and concert in the stadium, filling the stadium. But we don't know what you went through to get to that level. And this is a platform that I've created so that we can share the story, so that when people watch, they'll be like, oh, this is what Dr. Sonnie Badu went through. And if he went through that and he was able to succeed, then I'm not alone. If God was able to do it for him, then he can also do it for me. So I would like us to start your story from your infancy. Where were you born?
So born in the UK, and then went back to Africa, Ghana. African parents. A number of years, that kind of thing. And I grew up fairly in Ghana, and I'm glad I did, because it gave me a lot of values. And living in the UK as well gave me a lot of exposure. And combining exposure and values makes you the best. Went to Oxford Academy. From there went to GSTS. I'm a giant, proud giant. And went back to UK after everything was done. And that's pretty much the beginning of Sonnie Badu.
Wow.
That's how it started.
So how many siblings do you have?
I have 5 siblings and a half brother. Yeah. Wait, let me count. Yes, 5 siblings and then a half brother. So from my father's side, we're 7. And then mom's side, we're 4. And I'm the only boy from dad and mom. They've been together, I think, over 46, 47 years. Yeah, together.
We know you are a PK, you are a pastor's kid. How was it like growing up as a pastor's kid?
I I saw my father go through the rankings at the then church there, where he was an elder, then he became a deacon, then he now became a pastor and founded his own church. So I lived, I've lived all my life as a church boy. My father instilled a lot of values in us, and that is what has shaped me to become that which I am. Spirituality, understanding the Word of God in different dimensions, and so being a pastor's kid is like same thing for others. It's you want to taste the world when you're outside home. So when I'd go to school, I'm that gangster, I'm that bad boy, you know. You go back to your home, you're that good boy, you know. And it was fun. I would not change anything. It's part of what I've become now.
It's funny you mentioned that you when you go to school you're a gangster. I'm a tidy boy, so
Ah, awa.
there's a friend of mine who says he went to school with you, and he was like, "I can't believe this guy is a pastor now."
Nobody will believe it. You see, God has a very funny way of touching people. In school, the people we thought would become pastors are now in the world.
Yeah.
I met one guy that we used to call him Osofo. You know, he's now, I saw him, I met him years ago in London, and he was like, he had earrings on. I was the one evangelizing to him. Yeah, time changes, life changes, you know, and when the hand of God is upon you, God will permit you to go through everything. It's all to build you. It's all. So now I'm able to, if you come to church, you see gangsters who have given their life to Christ, people who were on drugs, cocaine. There's a son of mine, he was on cocaine for 28 years. His wife and mother-in-law, his wife and mother came to church. I was ministering to them, and the Spirit of the Lord opened my eye. And I said, your husband is on drugs. God is going to touch him now. Wherever he was touched. The following week, he came to church. Now they're church members. He's quick cocaine. And I'm able to embrace him as a son. Of course, after quitting, there's a lot of psychological things you got to help them out of because they could go back into it. And so if if I haven't been around that kind of life, I wouldn't have understood what he was going through mentally to be able to help him out or pray a certain prayer. So every path of my destiny has always been part of God's plan. At this age, I know that God has never made a mistake with me. So I'm grateful.
Okay. So when you say you used to be a gangster, I want us to go deep into it to know the kind of life you were living so that whoever is in that life.
So I don't mean armed robbery and all of that,
Okay.
no. But in school, if you're looking for bad boys who would do naughty stuff,
Like,
oh yeah, jump in the wall.
oh, GSTS, you have
Just
the wall, so
listen, jump in the wall, going to town, going to sleep outside town, not coming, going clubbing, smoking, drinking. Yeah, I was part of I've done it all. Yeah.
did you ever do drugs?
No, not hardcore drugs, but the normal smoking weed and all of that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Back in that time, weed wasn't that common, right?
yeah, baby opa. But glory be to God. It's all part of my story. So I'm able to share it to help somebody become better.
So how were you academic wise? Were you very smart?
In academically, in school days, I was not the smartest. However, after growing up, I discovered that my learning mechanisms were different. Yeah, because I'm a teacher of the word. I study and I teach very well, you know, and I just realized that I was just a southpaw that needed extra time to understanding a certain way. And that's what I need to let parents understand. Your child might not be, the teachers might say they're not that intelligent and all of that. There's nothing like somebody's not intelligent. They just need different learning ways. That's all. You just need to have time and figure out how they consume or absorb information. Some learn through play. Some can sit down and absorb it. So you just gotta know. Because after growing up that I realized no, I was not dumb. I was like, I'm very intelligent, and I bless God that I was able to discover that side to help even my children and other kids. And so academically, I was not the best, but when it came to sports, oh man, when it came to running, soccer, yeah, they'll have to call Sonny. Yeah, I would always have to be a part of that. So, yeah, that's a piece of my story.
Wow. So I guess you are very famous if you were very good at sports.
I've always had that. I was actually telling some friends in Canada, in school. There was Sonny Fun clubs in yeah. Because I used to sing in school, so
Were you singing Christian
no,
songs?
no. I was singing R&B, and I would actually sing Christian songs during gospel rock shows. I'll just go and sing and just mock the Christians. And that was where one of the guys grabbed me and said, "You're going to join our group because you're too good." I was just mocking him. I was not interested. But then I'd go for the gospel rock show and just sing some songs that will start ministering unto people. And then, mind you, in Accra, I was part of the praise and worship team, right? And sometimes whilst I'm singing, my friends would be waiting for us to go to the town to a nightclub or something. So they'll just come in. Sometimes I'll mess up I'll mess up their night because it was so powerful. We just
After
thought,
that, you
Charlie,
can't go to the
Charlie,
club
what
after
you do is
that.
for the thing, cry. Why you do so? That it was, but I'm grateful to God for every path that I took. Yeah.
So what do you think? Because you were a PK, you were a pastor's kid, you knew the right things, you knew the Bible. So what do you think made you like veer off, like you were mocking to the extent of you mocking the Christians on campus?
When you're a pastor's kid, you're so protected from the outside world. So the little chance you get, you want to sniff what you are protected from. And sometimes that's where the devil grabs you and say, "Hey, come over, I got something for you." However, most pastors' kids always have the hand of God upon them. No matter how far you go, God will still pull you back. So that's my kind of story. Yeah.
So you being a father now, what measures are you putting in place to make sure your children don't fall into the same temptation? Because we know of PKs, like even from in the Bible, Eli's kids, like, and even this week I stumbled upon a video, and I think it's the famous pastors in Ghana. Their kids were making videos, and they're like, oh, they'll mention like Pastor Mensah Otabel's child will mention the name, and they'll be like, my father is a pastor, and I stand with you. And I'm like, what goes into the, because to us, it's like you are just a PK. So what goes into the minds of PKs, and how are you making sure your kids are not going through the same thing?
PKs can be very boring. It can be very lonely. You lose your father to the church. You lose your father to the congregation. You barely spend time with your dad because he has to go and be there for the church. And so PKs mostly spend more times with their mothers, and their mothers need solid foundation to sometimes play the father role and play the mother role. And when the father comes, he's the boss of the house. But seeing some of the things we went through, what I'm doing for my children is making sure, mind you, I'm not just a pastor. I'm a seasoned musician as well.
Yeah.
So they have the privilege of seeing both. So they see their father, the star, on YouTube, and they also come to some of my concerts and they see daddy on stage with the band, and so they understand both paradigms. They understand the pastor laying hands. One time I was laying hands on people and I laid hands on them and they dropped. Mind you, my eldest daughter is 21 and the youngest one is 4 months. Okay. So I have 10, I have 9-year-old, I have 4-year-old, I have 3-year-old. And so one time I laid hands on them and they couldn't stop talking about it. They were talking about they fell and they wanted to open their eye, they wanted to get up, and so I make sure they experience both the stardom and the pastor and what daddy has to do, and I also make conscious time for them. Mondays is family days. Mondays, everyone has daddy. Daddy cooks, daddy takes them swimming, daddy works out with them, daddy takes them to wherever they want to go. I cook for my wife. So it's a rule. Monday is for the family.
You cook for your wife?
Yes, I cook for the family.
Wow.
Mondays is for the family. Mondays is when what you guys have me. So they understand daddy has to go to work. Daddy has to go to church. And YouTube and all these social media things, they're not allowed on there. But you do see one or two things on YouTube, and they know what their father is doing. They see the crowds, they see the stadiums, and all of that. So I think it means a lot to them when I'm rehearsing and I'm not in the country or I'm in another country. We go on FaceTime, they see what daddy's doing, working hard. And so I think my paradigm is different because I have the pastoral and the minstrel working hand in hand together.
One may say that makes things even more harder than your dad's.
My dad was just a pastor,
Yeah.
right? But mine is the minstrel and the pastor.
Yeah.
And the evangelist who has to travel or go and perform. So my dynamics are totally different from other pastors who were strictly pastors. Yeah,
pastors.
so I can kind of talk for myself, but I saw certain mistakes my dad did, and I can only become a better version of my father to my children.
Okay. So let's back up a little bit and talk about what was the turning point for you from turning from being that gangster person and then coming back to Christ?
There was this sickness at school. There was this pandemic, and it hit me first, where there's this, you couldn't breathe. It was bad. I saw myself dying. I couldn't breathe. It was like, what's going on? Then the doctors in school said, no, go back to Accra. From Takrade to Accra, 4 hours at that time. It was just a miracle. We got to Accra, was rushed to the hospital, and the doctor was like, "This thing is is this strange infection, and it's killing people." And I remember going into a covenant with God then that, all right, spare my life, and from there, I started kind of withdrawing back from the nightclubs and, joining musical groups, gospel groups. And that's how the gospel side started coming in. I think it was a beautiful journey.
Did you lose those friends that you?
Oh, no, we're still friends. Oh, no, you can't change suddenly. Kakrebi wa. Obefa left Kakra, but they knew that if we used to drink, I wouldn't drink that much. It's just I had that personal decision I had made, and it took time. But everything came into its full course when I went back to London. Yeah, after school, when I went back to London, I just saw me as a different person.
So both of your parents were in London or were in Ghana?
They were in Ghana, but I was born in the UK,
UK.
and then they were in Ghana. So So you know how African parents do it. They go
Yeah.
on it. Yeah.
So were you there all by yourself
Where?
in the
After
UK?
school, na see a job, na send me deep say 18. If a job to fend.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how were you managing? Were they sending you
My
money?
sis my elder sister was also there.
Oh, okay.
No, they would normally give you to an auntie or an uncle to live with.
Okay.
So that's how it starts. And then when you start working, you now find your own apartment, and then that's how it works.
So did you continue your education or
I went to Lewisham College, did music there, and then life just put me on a hustle mood. I started hustling for money. Life just puts you in a hustling mood, yeah. But
so did you finish your education or you didn't?
I, after Lewisham College, when I did the music, that's when I just diverted and started pursuing ministry, you know, and I needed to survive. I couldn't go to school and work at the same time. I needed to choose one, so I picked work over school, and that's when I started playing in churches to survive as well, and that was a whole life experience. Yeah, but I have no regrets. I don't at all.
But I think the your education, because you did music and listening to your music, do you think that really helped you or it didn't? Or
Music is in my DNA. My grandfather is the late Akwesi Menu. They used to call him Ahomensia. He wrote a lot of folk songs, a lot of palm wine music songs. They call it high life music now, but it was palm wine music. I don't know if you, I think you were probably too young for this, but if you heard, Obin Fire na na say mommy, Obin Fire na na say mommy, na na say Yajima na na oni, eh bronya be, ma be kumbe ma. That's my granddad that wrote that song. Akosi kume na ma ye bwe, akosi menu kente huko, medana mada kente huko, akosi kume na ma ye bwe. That's my granddad. So music is in my DNA.
wow.
Even though I never met him, even though my father never met him, that's where music. So it's music has always been inside of me. Songwriting, composing, and all of that. That's always been inside of me.
So after there, doing my a little research, you really struggled from church to church. Talk about church abuse. Can we go deep into the church abuse?
You want to put me in trouble, eh?
No, because I feel like a lot of people are going through the same thing, and then because for us, our background, we come from Africa, and Africa, it's like you're not being paid. It's like it's God's work. So why do you need to be paid? And your blessings will be in heaven. Da da da. So
It
it's not something we talk
depends.
about.
It depends on which hands you fall into and their mindset. Some pastors want the best, but they don't want to pay for the best. Some pastors want the best and they will pay for the best. Some pastors understand that they need to take care of you. Others don't understand it based on their doctrines. So, again, like I said, it depends on where you fall. If you grew up in a certain church and you became a musician, they won't find the need to pay you because you grew up from here. So why should we pay you? It's your service to the church. When you were wearing diapers, we saw you. Now that you're a big musician, you want us to pay you? No, we're not going to pay you. Play for us. But when this becomes a career for you as a musician, you need to be compensated so that you can focus on this, because nothing is for free in this world. Everything we do, there's a price tag on it. And so once the musician makes it his full-time career, I feel that they should be taken care of, so that they can also take care of their family, and also buy stuff for themselves and pay their bills. There are some people who, because they have other professions and other works, they don't need that much because they're getting paid from work and all of that. But I can guarantee you 200%, you can't compare that musician to a full-time musician who has time to sit down and rehearse and play. Because music takes a lot of rehearsals, a lot of perfection. However, my problem here is, if you lack that understanding as a pastor, don't talk ignorantly on your pulpit as if musicians don't have sense to ask for something. That's where my problem is. If you lack knowledge, go get educated around that aspect. Get understanding, because he cannot be a full-time, have a 9 to 5 and also be a full-time musician. He cannot perfect the music. He needs to choose one. And those who choose that as their career path, they take it very serious. You see them touring. Some are touring and flying private jets with top musicians. If they were not really good, those musicians would not pick them.
Yeah.
You understand? So my problem is, if you lack education, that it's okay to lack education and change your ways. Take care of them. Even if you can't afford it, let them know that this is what you're worth. This is what I can pay you for now. When things get better, musicians are very understanding. Once they love you, they will understand you. Once they know you have them, you care about them, they will sacrifice for you. Musicians just hate to be abused. They hate it, So for me, I also understand the struggles of church, because I'm a pastor. I understand the struggles of church. I understand that there might be certain elders and deaconesses and deacons who think it's not important the music is not important. Why are you paying musicians? Like in my church, my musicians come first. Sometimes, not sometimes, all the time. When offering comes in, it goes towards the musicians first. Whatever is left, that's what we save or pay bills with. Because for me, they mean a lot to me. So per Sunday, I could spend maybe about $800, $900 per service on musicians. $800 to $900 per service on musicians.
Wow.
Yeah. So one can just play praise and worship and charge you $300 for just 40 minutes or just 1 hour. Praise and worship.
Wow.
Yeah. And you have to respect it. But who does that affect? It affects me. It affects the church, because whatever offering came in, it had to go to them. And if you don't take care of them, other churches are looking to take them. Other churches are looking to pay them straight away. And they would have no choice but to go to that other church.
Yeah.
Because they need to also survive. You understand? And you'll be left with nothing. Now you start playing tambourines and clapping your hands. But with somebody of a Sonnie Badu musical standard, you cannot come to my church and there's no musicians here.
True.
Do you understand?
True.
Because when you're coming to a Sonnie Badu church, what you want to hear is good music. So I can't compromise with sound. I can't. No. So I don't have a choice. So I always believe God that get more people to come so that, the offering increases, so that we can take care of the musicians and also put something down for bills.
Wow.
Most of the time, I have to add to the bills. I pay a majority of the church bills.
Wow.
We're 6 years old. 98% of the time, I pay a majority of the church bills, because whatever comes, I'd rather give it to a musician so that they'll come the following week. And we go beyond them being a musician. They're my sons. They're my family. They can walk into my office, sit down with me, and chat with me until they're tired. So, and they're good people, So it's I've experienced both. So I sit at a perfect corner to give a perfect, counsel on how it should be handled. And I'll say, if you don't have the knowledge about taking care of musician, don't stand on your pulpit and make it look like the one who does it is stupid. However, I also understand that if financially the church is not there, it makes it very difficult to get top musicians. I mean, top notch musicians, because the top notch musicians have been taken by others.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. So, but God has blessed us here with a lot of musicians who also play without compensation, and it's because of the covenant they have with the church, with the altar. But whenever we have something extra, we give it to them. I have some pastors who do that too, and they are top-notch musicians. So there are different dynamics of this whole thing. Yeah.
And I believe, like, knowing a little bit about your story, you went through the abuse. There was a time you were moving from, like, going to at least 5 churches.
In London, and because I depended solely on the church, and I didn't just get up to depend on it. I was working in Boots, and the pastor said, "Oh, stop that job. Come work. Let's do the work of God. I'll match up the payment and who doesn't want to do the work of God and get the same?" And at that time, many years ago, I think over 19 years ago, it was £500 at that time. So the man said, "I'll match it up." And for me, all I needed was that amount to pay my rent, and then just hustle it through. First month, second month, third month, they stopped paying. I ended up being homeless. I ended up sleeping in cars. And the pastor had instructed that don't give him anything. But I was still going to the church, still, doing my job.
The pastor told him not to give you
Not to
anything.
give me nothing.
But did he communicate?
No.
And did you ask him?
We had several meetings. Oh, yeah. Yeah, ni papa beka sa you been say, but it was an executive decision that don't give them. It wasn't just me and some other guys. And you're dying. Where are we gonna sleep? What that kind of thing. And I ended up being homeless, right? And that was when struggle became real for me, But glory be to God, I think it was part of my story. And so I have a different perspective when it comes to taking care of musicians.
So,
So I take care of my people.
so if you are, most people don't understand when they say you are homeless, especially like homeless. Were you just sleeping on the street? Like,
I was sleeping in a car.
whose car?
My old car, it was a Vauxhall, red Vauxhall, in London, but maybe you call it Opel.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it was red, and I just needed to survive.
So how were
And
you taking a shower, brushing your teeth?
I had, oh man, at that time, it was me, Collins, Bombo, Roy, me, Collins, Roy, Bombo, and Kojo, and they had an apartment in Streatham. So during the day, I'll go and chill with them, shower, eat, and then that they lived there. So I'll go and kind of chill with them, and then in the night, if one of them went to their security job, I'll stay in their room. If not, I'll stay in the car.
Wow. Even in the winter.
Yes, sir. Yes,
In
sir.
the winter.
Yes, sir. And I ended up in another church, and the pastor said, "You're gifted. Your gift always makes a way for you. You're gifted." I said, "I'm homeless." He said, "Okay, I'll let you stay with my mom and sisters." And that's where I went to stay for a while. I was not getting paid, but I was getting accommodation. So that I had to use that opportunity to play at different churches and survive. And
So you're going to all those churches like every day,
every Sunday.
Oh, okay.
So once I'm done with praise and worship here, I move to another church, do praise and worship there, move to another church, make $50, £50, £70, £100. By the time you're done, you make like maybe £500 per Sunday. But there's an interesting thing. That money doesn't last long.
Yep.
That money doesn't last long because you got to buy weekly credits, you got to buy gas, you got to, man. But it's all part of ministry. So I'm grateful to God. I'm so grateful to God. Every path I took was in His will and in His plan.
And I know there was someone who looked down on you. You've mentioned this in past interviews. Like you were talking to this girl, and then
No, let's not talk about that. I
Okay.
don't want to revisit that. But that was relationship issues. You know, I've had a lot of.
But besides that, did other people look down on you that you're comfortable talking
I
about?
think my giftings always kind of gave me that extra favor. But the young lady was that time in the medical field, and I think that time their parents didn't think it was a suitable combination.
Yeah.
Church drama, you're looking for a daughter who.
Oh, you play drums?
Yes, man. If I'm not singing, it'll be drums.
Oh,
I was a jack of all trades. So if it's not me leading worship, I'll be on drums.
wow. This is news
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
What other instrument do you play?
Drums and singing, little bit of keys and all of that. So now I understand that you can't take your child through, pay so much, and then they suddenly fall in love with a person who you're not certain of their future. Now I understand it. Would I do the same for my daughter? Yes, I would. Yes, I met them in church. He's singing and playing, but I don't know his background. I don't know where he's going. And I've invested so much in my only child. And so the war is on. I'm not a prophet or a prophetess to determine your future. You might sing praise and worship songs, but you might not be saved. So I kind of understand it. It's all well.
Yeah.
It is well. And I'm grateful to God. I'm grateful to that family. There's a funny story I share there. They were going to a church in Winners Chapel, London. And Winners Chapel is a church that if you don't know your word, you can't even date anybody. Winners Chapel is a word-based church. You got to know your Bible, left, right, center. And one of the things I always did was I had to master the Bible, because when I went with her and we went around their colleagues, they'll be talking about the words and the word of God, and I'll have to contribute. I didn't know God was using that to prepare me to become a pastor. I thought I was chasing a woman. God had a different plan. So when I'm teaching the word back to back, that's where it came from, So God, that's why I say it's all part of God's plan. Every I wouldn't take anything out of everything I've been through. It's all in God's will and His plan, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
At what point did things start turning around for you?
When God gave me that song, Open the Floodgates.
What birthed it? Because I had that question in mind. Because that song is, you have no idea
You were literally unveiling my entire life.
you have no idea what that song has done. And when I heard that song, I was in China. And China, that song was all over.
Are you serious?
That song was all over in China.
Wow.
So you may not have the opportunity to go to China to preach. And actually, when you go there to go preach, you may be in jail. But your song traveled there.
Wow.
That was where I was when I heard your song. And every Sunday, like throughout the week, wherever we went, we were singing that song.
Wow. That song caused a huge revival for Africans, for Africa, all over the world. It's just, I still have goosebumps when I hear testimonies on that song. But fast forward, I had a then mentor called Danny Weatherland, and we were just thirsting for God to give us something. And when he heard that song, he said, Ajamai, come home. I've heard something. And when I got to his home, he started playing Babao, Babao. He was just he saw in a vision that that's what they were singing. And it was myself, him, and another gentleman called Johnson. And we started adding "We're in your presence, let it rain," and that's how that song was birthed.
Wow.
Yeah, but there always has to be a career of that song. If you have a hit, but you don't have a career of that song, the song ain't going nowhere. And that song is almost 16 years old.
Wow.
And to date, anywhere I go that I sing, heavens come down. Yeah.
Wow. I really remember it. It gives me goosebumps when I hear that song.
Baba has raised dead. Baba has done so much. So much. So much.
So how so when I'm talking about my perspective, when we're in China, all of a sudden we heard of this guy that it's like you came from nowhere. And all of a sudden we are seeing you in stadiums and like the people that you are singing with, Israel, all the top American artists that like at a time, I think even up till now, like there's no one who has done more collab with international artists as you. There's no one that I know that now we have more people. We have uh, the Dunson, and we have the Nigerians are taking over. But I think still because you've done a lot of collabs, you've done a lot of shows.
A lot of shows, yes. I remember Wembley Arena. I remember Wembley Stadium. Wembley Arena was the oracle. It was me, Fred Hammond. This was 12 years ago, 15 years ago. Sonnie Badu. If you go on YouTube, you see it. Me, myself, Fred Hammond, CC Winans, Sonnie Badu. Yeah, and that was Wembley Arena. That's what's the OVO Arena. That's where we did the Oracle. Then we did Wembley Stadium. It was with Noah Robinson and Graham Kendricks, and in fact, that's where I met Danny Duncan. It was an Integrity Music project, Wembley Stadium. Then I personally did a lot with William McDowell. We that was in New York. It was myself, Alvin Slaughter, William McDowell, Ron Kenoly, Phil Driscoll. It was like back to back stadiums. This I'm
Yeah.
talking 15 years ago. Then they said no gospel artist had ever in Africa filled a stadium before. I said let's try it, and before we went to Ghana, we did National Theater. Those who were outside were more than those who were inside. Huge. That was my return to Ghana. Then we did the Dome, Let Peace Reign concert. Those who were outside, there was almost a stampede. There was fire on the stage. We oh, that's another story. Then we hit Accra Sports Stadium and Kumasi Sports Stadium in the rain, packed, jam packed, like travel Australia. Like, oh man, I got to a stage where I was tired of traveling and touring. Like, God, Suriname, over 30,000 people. You go to Suriname. I still remember the song where I've never seen this kind of God before. Then I had to sing it in Surinamese. Mi do siegado di sieti, wandru, wandru, wandru. Mi do siegado di sieti. That was Suriname. Suriname, people were traveling from Amsterdam to Suriname. Then from there, we'll go to Paris. Stadium, the arenas were packed. Amsterdam, packed. What people are doing now, my age, I'm gonna tell you something I've never said. Doing church was part of God's plan. God told me 10 years ago that you're going to take a break and you're going to do this. It was a big struggle with God. God, I'm doing arenas, I'm doing stadiums. How humiliating will it be to be doing stadiums, arenas, and crowd, and now I need to gather 2 or 3 and build a church? I said no for almost 2 years before the call. I said no, I'm not doing it. That's how the song "My Soul Say Yes" came. So people don't understand the depth of that song. Where you lead me, I will follow. When you call me, I will answer. That's how. That was the prayer.
Did God struck you?
I'm telling you, my guy. Listen,
God has
I
a
was
way.
making so much money traveling. Australia. Like so much money. And God, you're saying what? Stop all of that and start a church for what? Prior to that, I was always preaching, but I never made the world see that side.
That side.
I always made them see me touring and doing concerts. Oh, man. I'm just remembering some of the arenas, and I went on my Facebook, my old Facebook page, and we toured America back to back, from Ohio to then we'll go to Toronto. I have it all. Like, I'm talking about arenas and stadiums, and I'm gonna pull off everything out and start putting it out. Uh, because sometimes you need to just remind yourself that you are on the right path. God just sort of called you into a different dimension, because it's not easy to plant a church, start from scratch in a strange land where you don't know people. I mean, you're in the church now. I didn't come knowing anybody. I came by faith. I heard God in Dallas. God said, "It is time." I said, "Time for what?" And in Dallas, that church we went was a small church. I just liked the pastor, so I said, "I'll come." Very small church, maybe about 60 people. Mind you, in my mind, Sonnie Badu Church, I need to start with 1,500 people. God said, "I brought you here because I needed you to understand you start small and it grows. That's why you're in this church." We did a 4 days conference. So it was in Dallas that God said, "It's time." I said, "Time for what?" He said, "Time to start a church. There are people waiting for you." Then I told God, if this is really you, if I go back to Atlanta, I'm not going to look for a place. You find the place. Let me know it. So I called my friend D. Jones. I said, "This is what God is saying." I thought he was going to say no. I called my team. I said, "This is what God is saying." I thought they were all going to say no. Everybody was like, "We've been waiting for you." Came to Atlanta. D. Jones said, "Go to Spaghetti Junction, where William Murphy used to have his church. Go there. It looks like there's a building there." We got there. There was a Spanish man who was already waiting for me. And that was the first building we started fellowshipping at. So I announced, we did a conference. I announced that God said we should start a church. And right there and there, we had about 150 people registering as church members.
Wow.
98% Americans.
Wow.
So, and 6 years. And you know the painful part? The church was growing so big. Then COVID hits. COVID hits. Something that has never hit the world hits you. After 2 years, we moved into this building. So we spent a year in the first building. Then we came in here. This place was empty. Like, what you're seeing is not how it was. Empty warehouse. Renovated the place. And then after the first year, COVID hits us. Everybody has to stay home. 2 years. We literally lost everybody. We were doing Zoom, but by the time everybody returned, people were not the same.
Yeah.
People would rather stay home. So it's like after COVID, you'd have to build all over again. And mind you, the strength you'd put in sustaining the church during COVID, after that strength has been exerted, you need a break.
Yeah.
I have not taken a break. I'm just still going, because things are just changing in ministry the Gen Zs, the millennials, everybody's doing their own thing, right? So you've got to kind of figure it all out and reinvent yourself. So it's been very tough. It's been very tough. But in this tough season, we have another branch in New York. We have a branch here. And so whenever I want to give up, God gives me a reason not to give up. This year, I've done my new recording. I'm coming back to music full time. And so now we're going to have to handle the two. And I'm happy to be in that space, back to my music. Yeah.
How are you able to write songs in different languages?
I think that's one of the gifts God gave me. I'm just gifted with singing in different dialects and singing it as they do it or even better. I think that's one of my greatest gifts. I can get something from you now and then just put melody to it.
Oh,
and
so you
lyrics.
get the words.
I'll tell you, teach me.
Oh, okay.
Teach me. Give me the words, teach me, and give me 5 minutes. I'll just put something down. Plus, I have that ear. I just know. Take me to Kenya. I'd sing. Jina la koli tukuzwe Yesu. Jina la koli tukuzwe. Jina la koli tu. Hakuna kama wewe. Hakuna kama wewe. Take me to South Africa. Pindu kulume moya moin nwele. You have to. I'm thing more. You've got to learn it. So, Siyakutana moyo nwele. You got to. I learned it easily, whereas other people struggle to do it. So I think it's go to Nigeria, Igbo. Their dialects are different. Their language is different. Yoruba is different. Ado is different. And I'm able to sing in all those different dynamics. I think it's a gift, and I appreciate God for that gift. So it makes you diverse. It makes you dynamic. It makes you different. And when you come to America too, I'm able to sing like the Americans. My church folks are Americans, so I'm able to switch there whenever I need to. I think it's a gift.
There's one thing. So, starting, you are beyond the norm. Like, because usually starting a Ghanaian artist, starting coming out in America or outside Ghana, it's really, really tough. Because it's expensive to promote your music. Nobody hears your song. But so most people go to Ghana, promote a song, come back. But you, it's like you went this way and it went all.
Listen, let me do a research. Tell me any male African artist who's lived in England, lived in America, and gone back home to make huge impact. It's not done because the economy in England and America wouldn't permit you. Life is tough.
Yeah.
Things are hard. If you're a man, you need to hustle to take care of your family.
Yeah.
Female, the only female I can literally talk about is Dinah Hamilton.
Yeah.
But Dinah's husband is a medical doctor. So Dinah's family is not broke like that. And when she took that musical career, the husband decided to support her full time. So Dinah, go, I got everything. So how many females have broken through like Dinah? None. How many males have broken through? I tell people, live in America or live in London and do what some of us are doing and see how long you survive for. You wouldn't survive. It's not easy. My mortgage, well, I'm not going to talk about that before it's misquoted, but some of us are paying mortgage almost over $5,000 every month, right? Put that mortgage, put car notes, put this. By the time you're done, you're paying about $7,000 to $8,000 out every month, right? But in Africa, once you build a house, you're good.
Yeah.
Right. So so life is better in Africa. You can pursue your career better in Africa than living here. you can't even compare it. How many people have really done it? Some people will now mention certain names like, oh, check this person out. Oh, what about this person? But let me give you an answer. Now you have YouTube and social media that's helping people. When we started, it was not that easy. We didn't have YouTube and these online. No, it wasn't working that way. So things are becoming a lot more easier in this dispensation. Another factor is a lot of people in Africa have picked up their game. A lot of young guys have picked up their game in Africa. So even to invite you back home, it's tough. Your ticket alone, first class ticket, business class ticket is expensive. It can pay for about 5 musicians. So when I look at Dinah or I look at people who are working so hard from from the diaspora, I give them a lot of respect because it's not easy like that. It's not, and that form, sir. It's not easy like that.
So how were you able to pull it off? And at the scale that you did.
I sacrifice. That's what people don't know. If I'm doing a concert and I put a charge to it, I can tell you everything that came as a charge is that which I spent. It wasn't for profit. It wasn't for anything. I just don't care what I spent. Just make sure everything is well paid for. I'm good. We're good. I've sacrificed more than I've gained. My team will tell you I'll go all out. I will go all out. Whatever I need to sell to make sure it's a success, whatever impact I've got to do, I will go all out and do it. And go home empty. Go home with nothing.
But in the very beginning, you had nothing. So how were you able to do all of that? Like have all this big names on your concerts and stuff like that?
Everybody has their source of income, right? I have royalties. That's one, right? Not just that. I can't tell. I can't put it out there in public space how something money comes into my pocket. I can't talk about the investments I have here or there.
Besides even the investments, just the connections. I don't know if you know, you are blessed and favored in the way that you are connected to a lot of people that people are like here and people are struggling to come here. And it's like,
I think my works has spoken for me and it's demanded that respect. They've seen what Sonnie Badu has achieved and done, and they respect and honor that. So I can call it Danny Duncan, and he comes as a brother, and we sit down and talk as brothers, because they'll tell you when it comes to Sonny's work, he doesn't play with it. They are equally blessed as well. So I think that the dedication I have for it is that which has demanded that respect. But it's not easy. It's 98% of musicians living in the diaspora are struggling. Go to London, go to England. How many of them do you see them moving from here to here? Give me 6 of them. No, it's what's happening now is the young ones in Africa are making waves now, and they are getting the opportunity to come, and it's working better for them because they take the pounds and the dollars and they go. When you exchange it back home, it's a lot of money. So it's working for their favor. But let them come and live here, and then they would understand. I remember when my brother Tim Godfrey came to America, when he moved to America, he was like, bros, everything is, you've got to pay a bill. Like yes, mortgage, you got to pay car notes, you got to pay this. So if I travel to Africa and I don't know what I'm getting, what will I tell my family when I have to pay school fees? Do you understand? So, and there's this thing as some musicians don't charge and all of that. It's also their sales strategies. Everybody has their sales strategies. Look, I'm not going to charge you, but I'm not just going to go to any other place. Do you understand? I'm not charging, but I'm not just going to any other place. And personally, there are certain spiritual fathers that when they invite me, I dare not put a charge to it. I dare not. I know they will take care of me. It's a known, they will take care of you because they have a budget that it meets your needs. So when I'm going to Pastor Paula Defarasing or Pastor Biodun or I dare not say give me this amount of money. It's daddy, whatever you give me, I accept it. Do you understand? So when some people say we're not charging, we go for free. No, it's not everywhere they'll go. If you like, let that church in that corner place called maybe now they'll do it to kind of make them look good. But when they started, even though they would say, yeah, we're not going anywhere, we're not charging, we're just doing the work of God and all of that. That's it. I've been in this 30 years. It's not everywhere they will go. No, 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 no. Because when you're done, you want to meet, you have bills to pay. So if they come and give you something that even your musicians cannot be taken care of. Okay, let's say you wouldn't take anything. But what about the musicians you're traveling with? They need to take something, right? So if you tell them we didn't get anything, they have to survive. So it doesn't work that way. So that rule is good, but it's not everywhere. When you're going to places, you go to places that you know. We both know that you give me something that's good. It's a gentleman's agreement, and I do the same. Of course, if it's an arena and a stadium and all of that, that one they deal with management. I don't even know what management charge. All I need to know is what am I getting? What is management paying me? And all of that. But if it's an arena, stadium, a group of companies coming together, yeah, they'll go with the manager on terms and conditions. You meet it, we're good. But if I'm going to a pastor that I honor, respect, and love, no, I don't put a charge to it. No pastor can say he charged me this or he didn't charge me this. No. If I have a relationship and I call you my spiritual father, and oh yes, Pastor Kinsley will tell you, he gives me what he wants to give me. And if he doesn't give me anything, I say, thank you, Daddy. I love you. See you later. Because I believe even if I don't get anything here, God will bless me somewhere. But think about it. I have 6 children. I have 6. My family depends on me. So if I travel to Uganda or if I travel to Burkina Faso for 5 days, and how would they survive? Do you understand? So there are different dynamics to it because it's becoming a debate where people are like, you see, the anointed people are not charging. And no, Nigeria is a different terrain. Ghana is a totally different terrain. You understand? Nigerians are advanced in understanding ministry. And there are top ministries in Nigeria that they can book you all year from 1st January to 31st. And even if they give you $3,000 per place, based on the back-to-back, you'll be very satisfied. You can go home with almost $20,000 in your pocket a month.
Wow.
I mean, I've been in this thing for a very long time. Even if they give you 1,500 per ministration, 1,500 US dollars per ministration, Nigeria is so big that you're so occupied doing back to back. So let's say you're collecting 1,500 per day. Monday you're ministering, your Tuesday you're here. By the time you're done in the month, you have something substantial in your pocket. So the debate of I'm not taking anything, I don't take anything, just bless me, and people now changing it to, you see, these are no, it doesn't work that way. There's certain things that we call a gentleman's agreement. You know that I know you take care of me. I remember some years ago, I did experience, and I paid my way. I paid for my band. I paid for their hotel because the agreement was I'm the only one that's coming. And I told Pastor Paul, Daddy, I want to bring my band. He said, okay. And I paid for all of that. I paid for my entire team, the huntsmen, everything, the hotel rooms, everything. I paid for it. Then when we were done, he gave me an honorarium. I said, thank you, Daddy. I appreciate you. Whatever it was, thank you, Daddy. I gave it to the guys. I flew back to London then. Job done. So we need to bring a lot of understanding in this area. because based on demographical background areas and locations, certain things are not possible. Now, life is becoming good for a lot of people who live in Africa. You can access TuneCore and take royalties from all of these places in dollars and still live in Africa and make good money. If it wasn't for my family, I would have moved to Africa and also, you know, but whichever way, my family will never move to Africa. They're used to here. So you just have to, juggle it well and make sure that all is well. That's all.
With ministry comes attacks, both physically and spiritually. I would like us to talk about spiritual attacks if you've faced any, and if you have a story that you want to share with us.
Uh, so I operate with all fivefold ministries. So Tuesdays are for deliverance. In fact, people travel all over to Atlanta because they want deliverance because of the teachings I do, and that comes with attacks. A lot of scary ones. Sometimes in your hotel rooms, there'll be strange movements in the room. You'll be restless in the night. December, I was in Ghana. I had an accident that I almost died. I'll talk about that when I get to Ghana. But then, through it all, you learn to trust God to see you through because I'm a deliverance minister. Sometimes the enemy could use human beings to attack you. So I'm a very quiet person. I stay in my corner because I know, based on what I've done, it will irritate the enemy, and anything can come towards you. So I'm able to protect or build a fence around me. But ministry and what I do comes with a lot of attacks, a lot. They'll go for your family. They can go for your children. They could. Oh no, no, no! It comes. Being a deliverance minister is no joke. But through it all, you trust God to see you through.
How are you? What measures are you putting in place to protect your family? Because at times, the attacks may not come to you personally. Because even though I'm not a PK, my dad is an elder, and even this podcast that I'm doing, I've had my fair share of attacks. So, what are you doing to make sure your
So,
family's
so
protected?
I'm very protective over my family. One of the things you'd observe is no one has seen my children on social media space. It's some of the measures of you put in place to protect them. Even at church, the technical team know that they can't put the cameras on the children. Yet the children need to have enjoy themselves, and so the media team knows that whoever is shooting, don't go near the kids. Make sure the kids are off camera and all of that. They know that they're not allowed on these spaces. They would even cover their faces. Also praying for them every night. My wife will tell you she knows how intense the service was based on the attacks the children are encountering. They do get hurt sometimes, and you're like, this is weird, but I know where it's coming from. But through it all, God has been seeing us through. Yeah.
Wow. So, listen to your story and all that you've gone through and all that you've explained. Do you feel like, because we've talked about spiritual attack and physical, you get attacked a lot. You are always kind of on social media space. People are bashing you. Do you feel like people misunderstand you?
Yes, they do. And there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't change what my perspective is, it doesn't change who I am. But I understand them having that misconception. I understand it. It can be disrespectful sometimes because when you check the page of the person sending you that insult, quote and unquote, you're like, ah, akwepa, that kind of thing. And one time, one guy was literally insulting me, and we marked the face. 2 weeks later, he changed his page to come and ask me for money. on my page. It's
What?
just yeah. Please help me. Send me Momo. So I showed him the picture and we showed him the screenshot. And he said he's very sorry. It wasn't him. Some people told him to do it. Some people paid him to do it. And, so I'm used to all of that. It doesn't change what I said. I'll still back it and say it again if I'm given the opportunity to. But if you keep quiet and you observe and you listen to me, you would grasp a little wisdom from what I was trying to say. But the interesting thing is people always come back to say you were right. What you said was right. People always do. So I understand that space I get into. I understand the trolls and misconceptions, but it comes with Sonnie Badu. When I started growing my hair, it became a no, 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 no. Hey. Oh, they came for me. When my first interview in Ghana, I said Ghanaians must change their ways of songwriting. They came up. I remember that was the National Theatre one. They came for me. I'm talking like 12 years ago. They came for me. Oh yeah, who do you think so? Because you no. I'm Bobby, bro. I remember. I don't know how old you were, but
I remember
maybe they gave it to me. But I still stood on my grounds. Today they're like, Sonnie Badu can you? Yeah, Sonnie Badu can. Now a lot of young men sing with their hair out, But what if I told you I had a scar that I don't want people to see? That's why I left my hair to grow. You see, what if I said that? Then he has a tattoo. You don't know why. He has a tattoo. Oh, he's a sinner. What didn't or your bro It's okay. Just give me the microphone and then judge for yourself. Just give me the microphone and then judge for yourself. So it's okay. I understand all of that.
Does it get to you?
It's gotten to me a few times. And I really wanted to respond back, but I understood the terrain. Like this recent one, this whole money thing, it's just turned off. And if I tell you the whole story behind this song, you're going to get there, right?
I wanted to ask
you can feel free and talk about that. I was doing a whole series on money and wealth creation because God opened my eyes to understand that money has no religious affiliations. Money doesn't know the Muslim. Money doesn't know the Hindu. Money doesn't know the Hare Krishna person. Money doesn't know the Christian. Money is a spirit. Whoever calls it gets it. That's why some people are very holy, sanctified, but broke. Some people are speaking in tongues, yet they are broke and they're crying poverty. Yeah, it's because you don't understand or you haven't been schooled in regards to that aspect. This is not prosperity gospel. In fact, God desires that we prosper. The Bible says the blessings of God maketh what rich and adds no sorrow. So it's part of having financial freedom is part of God's blessing. I've traveled a lot to go and preach. One of the seeds people run to sow is if you say, bring this seed for a financial breakthrough. Obia pesika. Do you understand? The Bible said the money answereth all things. It's the love of money that is the root of all evil. The love of money. And when you don't have money on you, my guy, you can compromise real bad. When you don't have money on you, you can go into prostitution because you need to make money. Lack of money can make you a criminal. A lot of armed robbers up and down, what are they looking for? Money. Lack of money can make you a liar. Lack of money can make you a thief. So it's about time we learn. We learn how to understand that in this world, in this world that we're in, everybody is doing whatever they can to attract that which we call money. And this is a subject the church has to address. It's not lottery that we assume because I'm a Christian, money must come into my bank account. No, it's not. You've got to work hard for it. There are certain money has certain principle. Is it not interesting that the same $100 that was in that armed robber's pocket can end up in that murderer's pocket? That same $100 based on transaction can end up in the bishop's pocket, or it can end up in that deacon's pocket. Money is a traveler. You understand? So number one, from a spiritual standpoint, money is a spirit. That is why when you go to these Indian restaurants, Indian shops, Chinese restaurants, they have certain statues there. And what do you think they are for? If you go to corner shops in England and all of that, they are all owned by Indians. Mr. Patel, they belong to Mr. Patel. When you're entering that place, look at the left or right side of that entrance. There will be like a little statue there. What do you think that thing is? That thing is that which attracts money. That's which pulls money for them. In those shops, no matter what you go in for, you must not leave without leaving money. That thing they believe in, right, pulls the money for them. When you go to these buffet and these Thai restaurants, you'll see that big belly statue right there, right? That's their source. That's which they believe in. That pulls money, attracts money for them. Into Christian, as a Christian, as a believer, what is your principle, or that which attracts that which you call money to come to you? One of the things you need to do is to call money every day. Wherever you are, money, come. Wherever you are, as I'm going out to work, as I'm stepping out, let me not come home empty-handed. Have you struggled to pay bills before, where your wife is asking you for money and your bank account is -0, -45, you're even owing? Have you been in that situation before? How does it feel? You feel depressed. Your wife needs to buy something and you look at her and say, there's no money. How do you feel?
Yeah, awful.
Have you not prayed for open the floodgate? Have you not played my songs and still the bank accounts were empty? Yeah, we've all sang those songs and the bank accounts were empty because we don't understand the principle. So there's certain spiritual principles that once you begin to invoke, as you're driving, money, come to me. As I'm working, today's a new day. That's why the lyrics says today's a new day. It's a new season in my life. I'm a child of God. Confession. Everything will work together for my good. Today's a new day. Testimony, tasting the money I will see. I'm a child of God. Everything will work together for my good. Me, I no go suffer. I'll never beg for bread. Is that not a positive confession? Why are people not talking about that side? I'll never suffer. I'll never beg for bread. As I'm stepping out, I'm never going to suffer. I'm never going to beg for bread. I'm not going to come home empty-handed. God will bless me with money. Are you not working because of money? You going out, what are you working for? Money. So I did not write that song to cause unbelievers to suddenly become wealthy and he's a sinner. Why is he talking about money? The person preaching needs money. Have you seen pastors fight over money before?
Yeah.
Have you seen, you have pastors, elders, have you seen pastor finish preaching and he's calling the one who's hosting him that, when are you paying me my money? And they literally fall out because maybe he didn't give him enough money.
Even siblings.
I'm a preacher, man, so I'm talking from experience. I mean, you go and preach and then the pastor will tell you that, he'll come to your hotel. That whole night, you're not sleeping until he's come. You don't sleep because you need money. Everybody does. That's the truth. I speak the truth. Everybody needs money. So it is just you confessing that positively. I'd rather you use that tongue to talk about money come to me than I'm suffering today. The Bible says the death and life are in the power of the tongue. You understand? And your tongue is powerful. Let the weak say what? I am strong. Let the poor say what?
I am rich.
What riches are we talking about? Is it not what?
Money.
It is in the scripture. Let the poor say I am what? Rich. Let the poor. What is poor? Poverty. What is poverty? You lacking money. The Bible says, let the poor say what? I am rich. Okay, what do I want? Money. So money come to me. Which part have I sinned?
So I think I heard someone analyzing the song, and when he said, why are they all wearing black? Red and black, like
okay,
people.
Let me answer that. Let me give you an answer. After I preached this sermon on this altar, and we make money declarations. One of the declarations, and when I'm making that declaration, it's not me that leads that declaration. We have a multi-millionaire here. His name is Professor Michael Wadiale. He's the one that comes to make the declaration of money. He's a pastor as well. So when we're crossing over, he makes that declaration. And one of the things he says that's so profound is money will meet money in my bank account. Oh, that's so profound. Money will meet money in my bank account, So I preached that message here. It was so powerful. And then that chorus, we're all singing it, money, 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 come to me. I'll send you that message. It will bless you. Then my team called me and said, sir, do you want to record this song? I said, no, put it somewhere. They got the producer. They called Osei. They did everything. I just had to sit and write the lyrics with a young man called Anderson. I just needed to put some broken English to it, right? And then they told the video crew that this man is coming to Ghana, but he doesn't know he's coming to do a video shoot. So they called my tailor. They had my outfits ready. And then they told Andy to get the dancers, get everybody ready. As in the outfit they wore, it was the video director that made that decision. I had no clue on that day who is wearing, where we are going. All my management told me was, you're only there for 3 hours. They kept on telling Andy, I can't try to say, we'll have for 3 hours. The video turned into 3 days because when I saw the efforts they had put in, 3 different dancing groups coming together, rehearsing, I was like, okay, that's fine. It took 3 days. I had no say in any outfit I wore. All I said was, okay, get me green. And then Fino sold something green for me. And even that white outfit, that's what I normally wear at home, right? That military thing they wore, I have no clue how. I think, what's the guy's name? Sky, right? Sky is the one that decided they should look military, wear the black and wear the hat. All I had to go and do was stand there and learn how to do that thing with them. And then I took selfies with the kids, the dancers. They were so cute. I have no clue.
So I think we are not so familiar with the money declaration.
But if you look at Badu dares to color out of the line. That's been my story. That's been me. Nobody could do a stadium 11 years ago. Sonnie Badu said it's possible by the grace of God. And God did it. Gospel bet me, I say, yeah, sir. Then we did Kumasi Stadium too. Flying all over the place, doing different arenas. We've done Buckhead Theater. No African gospel artist has ever done Buckhead Theater. We did it. DAR Constitution, 2019. We pulled Tim Goffred, we pulled Todd Delaney, we pulled Ty Tribbett. I'll get you the pictures. It was Joe Metto. Every concert I do, I make sure I fly Joe Metto from Ghana to come over. Because I'm a big fan of Joe. Joe is incredible. We pulled about 10 stars to come under the same roof. I remember Phil Thompson was asking me, are you going to be able to fill this place? And I said, watch God. And that DAR Constitution was packed 2019, before COVID. We did that in Maryland, D.C. Prior to that, we had filled another arena in Maryland already for the live recording. So we've done it all. We've always colored outside the line, by the grace of God. So I understand. I understand people's mindsets.
I know you have a tough skin. Does it bother your family at times?
It gets to them. But sometimes I tell them, my wife especially, I tell her, don't go online. Don't go and read it. Leave it. We'll handle it. We got it. Like somebody put on YouTube, Badu is Badu, but someone put bad, right? Imani, my 9-year-old daughter, told the brother that daddy's bad. She saw it on YouTube, daddy's bad. Then she went to her mom and said, Mom, I've seen Bad, Sonnie Bad. Maybe because Daddy has a gun. So, he's, but it was, I know it was an error. Badu. It happens. So, these kids are getting to know more about social media. But I also discovered that people enjoy tarnishing people's image to build content.
Yeah.
And but for me, this is how I roll it over. If destroying my name feeds you and your family, then I'm okay. I'm being merciful to the poor too.
Oh my God. That's funny.
Am I making sense? You see, if your heart was genuine, then I dare you not to put on YouTube. Right? If your heart is genuine, then don't put your content on YouTube. Put it on Facebook or put it on a platform where you don't make money. That's when I'll know you really, really have me at heart. You're really concerned. All you're trying to do is to build content for yourself to make money. And what do you need the money for? To feed you and your family. So if mentioning my name in a negative way pulls traffic for you to go and make money from YouTube, then I'm being a blessing to the poor. And I don't mind.
Wow.
It's okay. That's my mindset. Wow. Because when you Google negative stuff, that's it's 200,000, 300,000 views. For what? Most of it are lies and I can't respond. And you permit people to disrespect every hard work I have done. And you're happy because it's going to put more adverts on your page, right? It's going to direct more adverts. And who takes the money? Do we share it? No, you take the money. So your mindset is, if I can destroy him in a negative way, I can pull traffic and I can make the money. That's a sickening mindset, right? You're sick in your head. So I just fed the poor. And I'm happy. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy.
You just mentioned that your daughter said, is it because daddy has a gun? So you do own firearm.
Oh yeah, in America you have to.
So someone would be like, well, you're a pastor, don't you believe God?
Am I pastoring in my home? No, wait too. Am I pastoring in my home? No, it's you have to learn how to shoot. In America, there are weird things that happen here.
Yeah.
You could have burglars, you could have strange people. You have to protect yourself.
And churches are being
Of course, churches are being invaded. So here we have protocol. I have guns. We all have guns. If you come, we also. I mean, it's America. If you come, we'll also deal with you fine. We have snipers here.
So you learned how to.
Yes, to shoot.
Oh,
it's nice. It's fun.
Wow.
It's good.
Is it? Because you were in the cadet when you were in
No,
high
but
school.
those times we were not shooting real guns. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but here you have to protect your family. I have a lot of firearms. I love them.
Because someone would be like, well, if you're a man of God, don't you believe God will
My
protect you?
answer to you is those who people went and killed, didn't God protect them? My question to you, those who were preaching and people shot them, they are men of God. Didn't God protect them? You have to apply wisdom. The fact that the church is open doesn't mean everybody's safe. There are some people who are mad.
Yeah.
The devil goes to church too.
A preacher was robbed in New York in his church.
At gunpoint and all of that. So you also have to put we have a lot of security measures. Joel Austin's church, a big mega church with almost 100,000 people. People went there with guns and shot, so you have to be smart.
Yeah.
Plus, I have a young family. You have to protect yourself. In America, somebody can just you live here, so you tell me.
True.
So find one and protect your family with it, and teach your wife how to shoot, just in case.
True.
True. But then it's out of the reach of my children. They don't. It's in a lock safe. Because no. But yes.
That's amazing. This has been a very impactful. I know I've taken a lot of your time.
No, have your fun.
It's been over an hour.
Have your fun. I'm having a good time.
So, okay. What advice would you give to an artist, people who are here, who have the talent, who have the skill, but they are struggling? How can they get to your level?
Me, I don't think I've gotten anywhere yet. For me, I'm just starting, right?
But compared to every artist coming from Ghana, you can talk about maybe Joe, Diana, but well, maybe I don't know. But from my perspective, I don't think they've done some of the things that you have done.
They are now, a lot of them are like Joe just did a stadium.
Yeah.
And that was incredible. I mean, and I said something. I said, I hope it doesn't end there. I want every gospel artist to believe it can be done.
But Joe is in Ghana, so it's kind of easy. But those who are here, I think it's because I do videography too, so I know the struggle of artists here.
It's not easy because number one, there's no money. Money. Everything comes down to money. I remember when Sinach, D. Jones is Sinach's producer and music director. I remember having that discussion with D. Jones, and I said, D, Sinach needs that sound. And I introduced D. Jones to Danny Duncan. That's when they recorded Waymaker.
Oh.
Waymaker had already been sang by Sinach. They were already singing that in Christ Embassy. Sinach has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
But it didn't have that sound, that industry sound. So I recommended Danny Duncan to D. Jones. And I told Danny, this D. Jones is the man. D. Jones is an amazing guy. That's when the whole world caught up onto that. And now Sinach does more stuff with Danny. Because in order to invade that global market, you need that sound. It was Danny Duncan that recorded My Soul Say Yes. That sound was that international sound that you hear. The ears of those who have to hear will appreciate it. So if it's not that sound for me, that's quality for me, I'm not going to do it. And then this new album is big. Trust me, Badu is back. Like I told people, we're back in the game. So my advice to this new generation is life is more easier now because we have the TikToks, we have the Instagrams, we have the Snapchats. And I discovered that now anything and everything can trend. It's like you don't know which one will. Somebody can just sing one line and that's it. TikTok will take it. And like that recent dance, bong bong bong, huh? Like
you don't get it.
And whoever was doing it didn't even think
it was gonna go
look
that far.
He
had been doing it for a very long time.
There's a recent challenge on just give me my money. I don't even understand. Then the third person has to say, just give me my money, and everybody will stop and look at you like stupid. That's trending. You see, so we are in a day and age where if you're lucky, look at my brother Tim Goffrey. He did so many songs. The one that trended is I have a very big God. And you know what made it trend? That dance. That thing that they did. The whole world took it. Tim has a whole plethora of songs but look at what broke him through. Big God. That dance. So my advice to this new generation is you don't need to do that much to break through that way. It's just having the right content and hoping it catches fire. That's all. The problem is it won't last long.
Yeah.
Okay. So the problem whereas Sonnie Badu songs are timeless, classics. From Colors of Africa to Lost in His Glory to Sounds of Africa, man, when you start playing them, it's timeless. It feels like it's new. These songs are 15 years old and 10 years old and all of that. These new little trends don't last long. But then the streams are good. However, it's also not much in Africa because we don't have stream points that gives you the money. So apparently in Ghana, it has to go through South Africa, and then they take their percentage, and then they give you the drops. But if you get maybe $300 in Ghana, it's big money. It's not bad. So for this new generation, my advice to them is you have easier platforms to. You can stay in your bedroom and sing something, do something, and bang, it'll catch fire. You know, look at this. There's this guy who, them blind offended. He wrote a song on a woman that maltreated him. Ghana, Safo Newman. It's just a song, and this that particular song caught fire, and TikTok was just burning. So the advantage for this generation is there are more platforms that can project your music all over the world within a short space of time. You need to utilize it and make sure you put everything in place to ensure that even if it's 1 month of exposure, you utilize it really well, because you will get the exposure, but it's temporary. It's not for that long. So you don't need to spend much to make impact in this day and age. In our day and age, you will spend a lot because we wanted that organic and authentic feel, organic and authentic way. But in this generation now, anything goes, which works for them, but it doesn't last long. So keep going, keep believing, make sure you have the right content, right mentors that will help you put it together, and you should be fine.
Whom, which collab are you looking forward to do? Because you've done a lot of collabs, but whom have you not shared a stage with or done
One
a song with?
person I want to do something with is Rebecca Malope. Yeah, Rebecca Malope. She is just a diamond. She is a queen, and I'd want to do something with Rebecca one day. I love her, man. Incredible woman, incredible woman. But I think I'm grateful to God for wherever I am. I'm so grateful to Him, and I pray for more grace to keep going.
Thank you so much, Dr. Badu. This has been amazing. Again, I've spent more time than we
That's okay.
bargained for,
That's okay.
and you've been very gracious, and you've been able to share your story with us. And I know that thousands of people are gonna watch this, and they're gonna be inspired, because if you were able to get to this level, then they can do it.
They
If
can.
if they fight, if they don't give up and they persist and keep praying, keep working on their crafts, God will make a
They
way.
can.
Is there any last word you want to share?
Let me encourage you. Keep going. We're in the generation where anything can catch fire anytime. Your podcast is not just for for leisure or passion or whatever. No, you also make an impact. You keep going, keep believing, keep investing, and I see you interviewing greater people. You will make your own impact. You will build your own studio. People will fly in just to be interviewed by you. So
Amen.
I'm not even going to encourage people outside. Let me encourage you. Keep going.
Amen.
When you start something, it's not easy.
Yes.
It's lonely. The pathway to success is lonely, but then the fuel that fuels you is belief. So if nobody believes in you, believe in you and keep going.
I was gonna ask for your advice off camera, but it feels like,
I
well,
did. I mean, when I came in and saw the stuff you've invested in, you could see one who is serious with his craft, and that this can be lonely. Sometimes you're like, "Hey, why did I waste money and all of that?" But then you got to keep going. There's always a one day,
yes.
and that one day we pray will be soon. Where people, this your interviews will hit a certain space that the world will thirst for.
Amen.
So may God give you more ideas, more wisdom to grasp onto that which the world needs. And you
Amen.
feed them with it. Yeah.
Amen. Thank you so much.